Chaos for Major League Baseball right now with the COVID-19. What the heck is going to happen with the Blue Jays right now? More and more coming up on this edition of Sports Talk. Comes out, there'll probably be other bigger stories around, but it's just the way I film these episodes. You film a few days before when you got ginormous news, and I want to top off with the biggest story of the day. Every video I make, they always have some big stories to talk about. So for the first one today is the Major League Baseball, like I said in the open, is already causing chaos. The COVID-19 is already causing chaos for positive. We're going to talk about, is this COVID-19 related, or is this just injury reserve? Just days into Major League Baseball season. We're days into the season. Just an FYI, we're talking about Major League Baseball in this Sports Talk because it is the biggest sports news. But coming up, there will be a video dedicated to the Major League Baseball's return to play. Welcome back, Major League Baseball. I'll have one all the way about the NBA. We'll have a welcome back, and we'll have one for the NHL as well. A total welcome back. See you. Welcome back, guys, for the Major League Baseball, NBA, and the NHL as they're back. We didn't do one for NASCAR because the channel wasn't up and running. We didn't do one for PGA Tour because the channel wasn't back and running. And we're probably not going to do one for the NFL for the reason of the fact that the NFL never got affected by the COVID-19. Anyway, just 4 days into its attempt to play 66 games in 60 days, there may be cracks into the construct of the Major League Baseball pandemic plan. While specifics remain scarce due to the privacy concerns for Miami Marlins vanished from the lineup or active roster between Friday and Sunday, with multiple reports indicating multiple positive tests for the novel coronavirus. Meanwhile, one day after the Cincinnati Reds announced a positive COVID-19 test for designated hitter Matt Davidson, one of the Davidson's teammates, Mike Mouse Takes, stayed away from the ballpark Sunday after he woke up feeling ill, and another, Nick Zenzel, was scratched from the lineup after also reporting he did not feel good. And now those teams will move on to play new opponents on Monday. Whoa! So you got multiple people off the roster. Reports from the Marlins that those 4 players probably test positive for COVID-19. That would be the only reason it would be so private when they're on the injury reserve list. Mainly fans would know right away. We've seen that in the past. You test positive for the virus, they're going to tell you. Like, you test positive for COVID, it's going to be, you break a leg, you'll know. For the other ones, we know they test positive for COVID-19, and now the teams are moving on to other opponents. It just sounds like a safety concern. I would think they need to quarantine the whole team or whatever. We've seen that, I have said that Major League Baseball is going to probably have some problems with the open and backup, to play, because they are in a bubble and whatever, and they're going to be one of the only sports to try to play without a bubble. But I'm thinking that this is bigger than I thought. I wasn't expecting already people to be testing for COVID. After we had training camps and they tested people, they quarantined people. Now we're having more people test positive. It is a concerning thing when we see it happening, because I do not like seeing players testing positive for the novel coronavirus, but they are. And of course, many of them, some of them showing symptoms, others probably asymptomatic that just test positive on the round of testing they did last round. We're going to see that. The more we test, the more cases we're going to get. It's simple as can be. Anyone can figure that out. And when these baseball players haven't been tested, they've probably all been asymptomatic. And now you test them and they're positive, they're positive, they're positive. And all of a sudden, you understand that you're not controlling them in a bubble. That way, they're going to be able to go out and about and just explore. And that's where it becomes a problem, and the coronavirus is at its best, is when more and more people are going out and about where they're not supposed to be and getting positive. And now we see Major League Baseball having those same problems here. You get in the tests, boom, stick up the nose, you get positive. You're positive. Positive. And we're seeing more and more of this happen. Now that we're playing, though, you become affected. And now we see these teams still moving on to other teams. So I'm sure Major League Baseball knows. I'm sure the Players Association knows. So I'm interested to see where the story goes from here, because that is just crazy. Friday, the Marlins placed catcher on the injury list with no reason given. So could he have COVID-19? The catcher, he touches the ball. But Major League Baseball reported that he did test positive for the COVID-19. Outfielder Garrett Cooper was also out with Sunday's lineup, meaning, oh, okay, did he test positive too? Ooh, be not good. And now the greater concern is potential that the community spread among the Marlins has already occurred. So the whole Marlins team have it, and now where does Major League Baseball go from here? Do they cancel their season? What happens from here? I don't think this will go as far as maybe some people are thinking, but possibly we could have a season paused for 2 weeks. We've already heard that NHL, an outbreak, they paused. NBA, an outbreak, they paused. Major League Baseball also said an outbreak, they'll pause. So that's the question mark up there with them, is if there will they pause? We don't know, and that's where the problem is. Although players have tested at least every other day, they get tested every day, at least every other day. Sometimes they get tested every day before a game. The typical return is 24 hours of the test. So typically you figure out in 24 hours. It does not, every player can maybe get tested and not carry the virus, kind of type of a deal. I am a little bit like, okay. I mean, we see Miami is getting crazy with COVID right now, and so that's where I come into saying that it's definitely a part of COVID-19. Major League Baseball is trying maybe to cover it up and say, well, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that. I think they do. I think they do. And we're going to just go to more of the stories that we have here. Oh, sorry. This one more thing I want to talk about for this story that we're talking about for Major League Baseball. The Marlins, another news from them, postponed travel home due to coronavirus concerns. Due to the concerns of possible outbreak of COVID-19 within the team, the Marlins are postponing their trip home from Philadelphia, meaning they're staying in Philadelphia. The Marlins concluded a series against Philly on Sunday and were set to return home from Miami for Monday's home opener against the Baltimore Orioles. Instead, the Marlins will not leave Philadelphia until Monday and are set to get to Miami hours before the scheduled game. So if there's a COVID-19 outbreak, Marlins are setting, they are going to put their own bubble. Our bubble's the airplane, our bubble's the hotel, is what the Marlins are saying. That's our COVID bubble, is what I'm hearing from them. So I guess I understand that they need to postpone that trip. So now really there probably is a COVID outbreak within the league. One more thing out of Major League Baseball is the Blue Jays are not going to play their first home game until August 11th. They're okay, as I said, they are going to be playing in Buffalo for their first home game this season. But why so late? The Toronto Blue Jays know where they're ultimately be playing their home games in 2020, but it will be a little while before they can actually play there, according to Hazel May of Sportsnet. Well, let's see what Hazel May said. Breaking: the Blue Jays will play their home series versus the Phillies on the road beginning July 31st. The first home game in Buffalo will be August 11th versus Miami to accommodate for fracture upgrades to Salem Field per industry source. All right, that means they're not going to play there, but why? You know, we thought this was like a legitimate, easy way for them to get in and out here, but I guess it is not. A really happy news to talk about now, though, after we talk about some controversial things. It's time to talk about a happy thing. Lined Bloom makes Flyer roster after finishing cancer treatment. He has officially signed a 3-year deal, $9 million, after officially finishing cancer treatment and back on the ice playing hockey with the Philadelphia Flyers. That their 31-man roster for the upcoming qualifying round will, with one name that stands out significantly. The Flyers keep forward Oscar Lindblom on the roster despite talk that the team might wait until 2020-2021 season before returning again forward to the ice. He was diagnosed with Ewing's sarcoma in December and completed treatment on July 2nd. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that the 23-year-old will be among the starters of the Flyers when the team returns to play. Just one of the roster. It's quite an accomplishment for the young forward who received signed a 3-year extension that could be valuable substitute if injuries arise, and tallying 11 goals in 30 games before being diagnosed with cancer. So he'll be back on the ice. Who knows if he'll be back for the cup run for the Philadelphia Flyers, but we know he's signed the deal and he's on their roster. Congratulations to him and his family. That's an awesome achievement for that team and that player. That's the top story of the day, I would think, besides the Major League Baseball. Final story of the day is the NFL could withhold salaries if players commit high risk conduct this season. As players prepare for the 2020 season amid the COVID-19 pandemic, they may be even more stakes than just their health this year. Specifically, players could be at risk of losing salary if they violate the NFL's conduct guidelines. NFL code rules, high-risk conduct not only can result in discipline, but can also allow teams to change the status of players' COVID-19 diagnosis as a football injury. If Channel sees permanently, teams could put player on the NFL list and not have to pay him. Meaning that, I think it says if players COVID-19 diagnostics. So I guess if you don't follow that, they put you like you have an NFL injury and don't pay you. So that's a pretty interesting take there, I think. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had fun rolling through some news, talking about some good things, some controversial things, and some things that could happen down the road. I have a little more stuff coming out this week, including a video previewing the NHL season. And plus, Major League Baseball, welcome back to them. We'll have it all for you this week. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for all the new notifications and all the new videos. We post, I think we post like daily now. Like we post at least 3 videos a week. So, you know, get caught up in that, guys. You gotta get caught up. We post a lot of videos here. So get caught up. Let's go. We get a lot of videos here. A lot of stuff happens. We're going to get right into it. Thank you guys. Have a fabulous day. Peace out. We'll see you on the next video.